The wedding hall glittered with chandeliers. The clicking of glasses filled the air. Guests whispered behind polite smiles, but you could feel their eyes on the bride who had switched grooms at the last moment. It was humiliating. Your hand trembled lightly and Taehyung's grip tightened, but he didn't let go. His grip was warm, steady, and strangely reassuring. Are you okay? He asked in a low voice, his tone warm and concerning. You nodded, gulping the lump forming in your throat. You still remember the vows you exchanged a few minutes ago. The words echoed in your ears like a vow you had once prepared for someone else. Taehyung's younger brother, Taemin, the man you thought you would marry, the man who cheated. The betrayal was still raw. You could still see the lipstick stain on his shirt, the laughter that wasn't your echoing from his apartment. Your world had cracked open that night, and all you had left was shame and shattered dreams. But Taehyung had stepped in that night not with sweet promises but with quiet strength you didn't know you need that time. Enough, his cold voice cut through the chaos. If you marry me, you won't have to bow your head to anyone. They will respect you, and Taemin will live with his mistake for the rest of his life. He had said weeks ago, his deep voice calm. At first, you thought he was joking, but Taehyung never joked. So here you were, married to a man who barely knew outside family gathering, but who now held your hand as though he had sworn to carry every burden with you. Congratulations, Taehyung. His friends were happy for him. They all knew he'd never take a decision in hassle. Take care of her, Young. Jungkook spoke with a childish grin, making others laugh but nodded at his statement. We all are with you. Hosek patted his shoulder gently before walking away. Let's go, Taehyung muttered, grabbing your hand gently and moving out of the venue. You finally breathe again, leaving the chaos and judgmental eyes. When you reached his mansion, everything was quiet. No maids, no servants. For a split second, your heart beat fastened, but you knew Taehyung was never like that man. He was calm and composed. The bedroom was quiet, almost intimidating in its perfection. You sat on the edge of the bed, the weight of the day pressing down on you. Taehyung loosened his tie, his broad shoulder tense, but his voice soft. We don't have to force anything, he said, taking a deep breath, but suddenly your mind wandered if we should sleep together. I will take the couch, he whispered as if he just read your thoughts. Relief and guilt twisted in your chest. Taehyung, I know this isn't what you wanted either. He gave a small smile, crouching before you until you were eye level. His gaze softened, and for the first time, you saw something you had missed, an affection he had kept hidden all these years. It disappeared as quickly as it appeared. I won't ask for your love now, but I promise I will never hurt you the way he did, not once. He said firmly, but the softness never left his tone. Your throat tightened, but the way your heart started beating fast. A tear slipped down, and before you could wipe it away, his thumb brushed it gently from your cheeks. His touch lingered just a second too long. Thank you for marrying me, you whispered, heart trembling, but the emotions were so raw that he could read them like an open book. Grief, gratitude, relief. His lips curved into a small, most sincere smile. It's me who should be thanking you, he whispered, brushing the strand of your hair out of your face. Go and wash up. I will go after you, he said with a small smile. You shook your head. These jewelries will take time. You can freshen up first, you said, moving towards the vanity with cautious steps, not to trip over your gown. Okay, but make yourself comfortable. This is your house too, he whispered and walked away before you could reply to him. That night he kept his word. He slept on the couch, leaving you on the bed, but when you woke up in the middle of the night, you saw him asleep, his hands still reaching towards the space where you lay, as if even in dreams he wanted to be closer. and something inside you shifted. What began as a marriage of convenience slowly became something more without even knowing. You never thought time would change so fast, but it did. You never expected anything after Taemin's betrayal, but Taeyong proved everything wrong. He would wait for you after work, quietly carrying your bags, driving you home even when you protested. He remembered your favorite tea, left sticky notes on the fridge reminding you to eat breakfast. And sometimes, when he thought you wouldn't looking, he would watch you with an expression so tender it made your heart race for some reasons. Take care of yourself. You are really precious. He whispered, his hand lingering on your head a little too long. I will. You nodded with a smile. It became casual between you two, like a best friend taking care of each other, but you knew deep down that you were thanking God for choosing Taeyong as your husband. You found yourself laughing again, not because he was trying to be funny, but because being with him felt safe, warm, real. But not everyone approved. One evening, as you left your office, Taemin was waiting outside. His hair was tangled, his eyes desperate. He looked devastating. You never thought you would see him after he disappeared after your marriage. Ryan, please, listen to me. His tone was laced with desperation, but you stood frozen. The man you once loved stood before you, guilt etched across his face. I made a mistake, he confessed, grabbing your wrist. I was stupid, but I love you, Ryan. Marrying Taeyong won't change that. Before you could respond, Taeyong appeared, his hand wrapped around yours, firm but not forceful, pulling you gently to his side. Taemin's grip loosened instantly, but his expression didn't flatter. Don't touch her, Taeyong said, his deep voice and calm, but with a sharpness that made Taemin flinch. She's my fiancée, he began, but Taeyong cut him off. She was, Taeyong said coldly, his gaze hard and protective. Now she's my wife, and unlike you, I don't break promises. Taemin's eyes flicked between you two, his jaw tightening as he saw the way you instinctively leaned closer to Taeyong, trusting him. For the first time, Taemin looked defeated. He thought he would had you in his grip, but little did he know Taeyong already made his way as soon as he walked out. It's not over, Young, Taemin whispered, eyes desperate yet throwing dagger at his older brother. When he finally walked away, you turned to Taeyong, your heart racing. You didn't have to. I did, because you are not alone. Not as long as I am here, Taeyong interrupted softly. Your chest ached, not with pain, but something sweeter. That night, when you reached for his hand under the dining table, he looked at you in surprise. But when your finger intertwined with his, he didn't let go. For the first time since your world had fallen apart, you felt whole again. Not because you found love where you expected it, but because love had been waiting quietly all along. You stood in the garden, sunlight streaming over you as Tang wrapped his arm around your shoulder. Guests no longer whispered scandal, they whispered admiration for the bond you two had built. You caught Demons watching from afar, regret heavy in his eyes, but you no longer felt pain because standing beside Tang with his steady hand resting on yours, you knew you had chosen right. You turned to him, whispering, I think I'm falling in love with you. His eyes widened, then softened into a smile so breathtaking it felt like spring after winter. You don't have to fall, he murmured, pressing his forehead to yours. I will catch you every time. And when his lips finally brushed you gently, filled with all the promises he had kept, you knew this marriage, once born of heartbreak, had become the greatest blessing of your life.